Hi guys, welcome to Virgil Clothing YouTube channel. So in this video, I will be demonstrating how to cut a front slit skirt using the back skirt block. So as you can see here, I've marked on the fabric the back measurement. And this is marking the zip allowance. The zip allowance is being marked. Like the skirt will be complete. Your zip allowance, your dart allowance, your sewing allowance, and then your dart intake. Everything was marked on this fabric. So here we marked the waist to hip measurement. Waist to hip measurement. Of course, you have the hip divided by 4. That is what we marked here. And the waist circumference divided by 4. And this is the dart intake, the dart allowance, not intake, the dart allowance. So marking the hemline of the skirt, that's your skirt length. It's actually a short skirt. And shaping it accordingly. So this will be connected to the hip and then to the waist measurement. Seam allowance added, and then you cut the back skirt. So when I'm cutting directly on my fabric, I need to cut a skirt with front slits. I go ahead to cut the back piece first. After you're done cutting the back piece, next thing you do here, okay, fine, you are not sure of where to mark your dart measurement. So it's not the time that is 4 inches. It's not the time that is, do you get? So this is you getting all the way from your dart intake, excluding the sewing allowance, from your dart intake to your center back. So you get the midpoint, you mark the 1/2 inch, and then another 1/2 inch towards the center back. And this becomes the position for your dart intake. So this is marking out the dart. And you sew accordingly too. Trimmed off the rough edges of the fabric. So next, you go ahead to pin the zip allowance. Pin like you are stitching the zip allowance from beginning to the end. This enables you to open up the skirt. And when you open it up, you are apparently having the same thing for the front, except that you need to probably take out your dart, because most times we hardly put dart in the front of the skirt. So you pin the zip allowance from beginning to the end. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our videos. So this is marking notching the dark position. We've opened the skirt here. As you can see, the back pattern has been, the back skirt has been opened. So this is the arrow is showing the position of the slit in front, where you want it to sit, preferably on that position, because that will be sitting on your lap, except if you want it in another position. Wherever you want the slip to be on your front pattern, you determine it, and then you fold the skirt at that measurement. So we folded for the right hand side of the front skirt block, and we want to cut one piece of that front pattern. And this will be cutting, like you can see that the fabric is placed on the right area, not the back, so you don't miss the positioning. We want the slit on the left hand side, so it's being folded, and we are cutting directly on the front part of the fabric, not the back, not the wrong side. So we marked it. This is marking out, and then also adding the seam. Of course, the back already has seam allowance. That's sewing allowance. It already has your that, but the front will be adding seam allowance for that place where you have that slit, where you created the opening. So you will add sewing allowance. Also, depending on how wide, like the overlapping, how big you want it to be. So you add the seam allowance, and this is also, you might want, this is us taking out the dart from the front. We don't want that in the front of the skirt. So because the back already has that, we cut out that measurement on the front pattern, and this is the allowance we added for the cut on that slit area. So you can see the chalk mark from the original measurement where we folded the back skirt, and then the extra that we added, and this trimming out the rough edges of the fabric. And then the right hand side of the skirt for the front part is ready. So if you check what you have, so the remaining part is this, what you have that remained at the back. So you're going to also cut that. You can see it's not much, so you cut it on the front side of the fabric as well. So this is the left hand side of the skirt, the front skirt block. So you also added a seam allowance for that where you have that joining. Of course, we took out taking out that allowance. We don't need it for the front. So, and once you have this, you can see what you have. You have your skirt with your front slit. So this is, you can now stitch from the waistline to where you want the slit to start from. Okay. So this is marking where we want the slit to start from. You can stitch that on top, or you can sew from inside, and you have your slit. So if you want to line it, you go ahead and cut your lining. But if you want to sew this way, because this was actually used for our summer coaching students, so we did not use lining. So you go ahead and stitch your skirt. Of course, place the back, sew the dart in, and then sew you are going to close the whole back except that zip allowance for the back. You're only going to leave, because you have slits at the front, you don't need slits at the back anymore, except if it's what you want. Okay, then the only space you're going to leave is for your zip. So you sew your dart, and you close up the other part, fix your zip, close the side, fix your band, and your skirt is ready to be rocked. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Till I see you next in our video, and don't forget to share our video for more wholesome content. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye.
Have you always wanted to start your own clothing brand, but something keeps holding you back? Maybe it's cost, quality, or even just finding the right manufacturer that you can trust. At Verdio Clothing, we are making it easier than ever for you to bring your fashion dreams to life. Just come up with a design and we do the rest. Order for just 50 pieces and we'll give you 3 extra pieces completely free. Plus, we'll throw in a free professional photo shoot so you can start marketing your brand immediately at no extra cost. Whatever kind of garment, from shirts to gowns to boo-boos to Ankara, we've got you. No more struggling to find a reliable manufacturer. We've been doing this for over 12 years and we've served over 6,000 clients. We use premium materials that meet international standards. And no more delays in launching your brand. Your free photo shoot means you get content for your website and social media the moment your order arrives. This is your sign to finally start that clothing brand you've been thinking about. Click the link below, place your order, and let's bring your vision to life.